Hello everyone, in this video we'll create an integration that will be used to generate a fixed length file from a CSV file. But before that, let's understand the fixed length file. A fixed length file is the file where each field occupies a fixed number of characters. Unlike CSV or delimited files, there are no separator like commas. Instead, fields are placed at fixed positions. Now here you can see a fixed length file where all the fields are taking a fixed number of characters. Like for employee name, this is the fixed length of 15 characters. That means the maximum length of any employee name should be of 15 characters in this file. And as the name Harry is taking 5 characters, so the rest of the 10 characters are null. And it is applicable for each field in the file. Now this is our source CSV file where we have 5 columns which are employee ID, employee name, hire date, salary and city. We'll read this file in the integration and then generate the fixed length file based on the data in this file. Now I'll go to OIC, and for our integration we need a FTP connection for read write operation. You can see the connection is already created. Now if you open this connection, so here you have to provide the FTP server host address, port, and under the optional properties, the SFTP connection should be yes. And if you go down, then under security, you have to provide the username and password of the FTP server. Now I'll go to integrations and click on the create button to create our integration. I'll choose schedule integration and provide the name as intg019 as it is our 19th integration. Now I'll click on create. In the schedule action, I'll click on the 3 dot and click on edit. Now here we'll create few parameters to pass the SFTP file path where we'll place our source file and the source and target file name. So I'll click on the plus and create the first parameter which is file path. I'll not provide any default value here as we want to pass the value when we trigger the integration. Then I'll click on the plus again and create our second parameter which is source underscore file name. Then click on the plus again and now I'll provide the parameter name target underscore file name. Now I'll save this. Now we'll read the file from the SFTP. So for that I'll open the WinSCP and I will upload our source data file into one of the SFTP folder. Now I'll click on plus and search for FTP. So I'll choose FTP001 which is the connection that we created. Now I'll provide the name as read source file and continue. Continue. The operation will be read a file which is already selected. I'll provide the input directory as slash and file name as star. These are dummy values. We'll provide the actual values in the mapping. Now continue. Here we have to provide the structure of the source file. For that I'll click on continue. Then I'll choose drag and drop option to upload the schema of the source file. So I'll select employee data which is our source data file. For the record name I'll provide employee and for the record set name I'll provide employees. Now I'll go down. Now you can see all the fields are mandatory now. I'll choose the checkbox of column option to make all the fields as optional and then choose first column as mandatory. Now continue, finish. Now I'll go to the map of read source file and from the target I'll expand the file read request and here we have to map the file name and directory and we have created the parameters in the schedule option for the file name and the directory. So I'll map file path to the directory and source file name to the file name. We'll pass these values when we'll trigger the integration. Now I'll validate and go back. Now after reading the file, we have to create our fixed length file and write that into the SFTP location. So for that, we need one XSD schema and I have already created that schema. So this is the schema that we need to create the fixed length file. Here we have the parent element as employees, where we have the choice min occurs 0, that means it can contain no data, and max occurs equal to unbounded, which means it can also contain as many as rows. Choice condition equal to fixed length and length equal to 0, which means the length will be depend on the child elements within it. Then within employees, we have mentioned the array element employee, where we have mentioned the separator as ul, which is end of line, and this is we have to mention for the fixed length file instead of comma or pipe. And under the array element employee, we have 5 fields, which are employee id, employee name, hire date, salary, and location. And the data type for each field is also provided. Like for the employee id and salary, the data type is integer, where the employee name and location data type is string, and for hire date data type is date. And in the style, you can see all the fields are fixed length. Then the length of all the fields are also provided. So whatever the fixed length we need for each field, we can provide here. Like for employee name, I want to change the length from 20 to 15. So I'll simply update the value to 15. I'll provide this file link in the description. You can download the file and change the element name, type or length as per your need. If you have more columns in your source data file, then you can add more rows here. Like you can copy a particular row and paste it below, and then change the element name, type and length as per your requirement. You can also remove a particular row if that is not required. Now I'll go to OIC again and search for the FTP connection to write the fixed length file into the SFTP location. I'll select FTP001, and here I'll provide the name as write fixed length file. Now continue. Now here we have to select the operation write file. I'll provide the output directory as slash and file name pattern as star. We'll provide these values in the mapping. Now continue. Here we have to provide the structure of the XSD file. So for that, from the drop down, I'll choose XML schema document. Continue. Now we'll upload the XSD file that we have created. So this is our schema. I'll select this. You can see the schema element employees is already selected. I'll continue. Now finish. Now I'll go to the map of write fixed length file. I'll expand the outbound FTP header type. And for the file name and directory, we already created the parameters in the schedule option. So I'll map target file name to the file name and file path to the directory. Now I'll expand the employees, and under employees you can see the array element employee, and under that all the fields are there. Now for the mapping, I'll expand the read source file response from the sources. Now I'll map the repeating element employee to employee, and then map all the fields under employee, like employee ID, employee name, hire date, salary, and lastly city to location. Now I'll validate. Now I'll provide one primary business identifier, and that I'll provide as source file name. I'll save. Now we are ready to activate and run our integration. So I'll activate the integration in the debug mode. Now I'll run the integration. I'll go down, and here we have to provide the file path, source file name and target file name. So I'll go to SFTP, and this is our file path. I'll copy this and paste it here. Then I'll copy our source file name and paste it in the current value of source file name. And for the target file name, I'll provide the same name, but now the extension will be txt, as the fixed length file is a text file. Now I'll run. Now you can see processing completed successfully. So I'll go to SFTP and I'll refresh. So you can see the fixed length file employee data.txt is created. I'll open this file. So here all the fields are having a fixed length that is defined in the XSD file. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Share this video within your circle. If you have any doubts or any suggestions, put that in the comment section and do subscribe our channel.